Okay, I'm live. I'm Mike Caton with Ace Method Coaching. And if you're new here, what this is all about is I am an online hurdle coach and sprint coach, just track coach. And in addition to other services that I provide, I get a lot of requests for me to look at their videos of them running and hurdling and give them some feedback on how they can get better. That's kind of my thing. Technique. But anyway, I get a lot of requests. I actually do this as a service. It's called a virtual coaching, and it's a lot more in depth than what I do on here. I spend probably a good half hour on videos, and sometimes I do them live or people sending them in. But this is a quick version, just to help out the community for people who don't want to bite that off. So if you like what I'm doing and you want to get a much more substantial version of this, you should go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com and see how that works. Today I'm going to be looking at 3 athletes, high school age, Jesslyn, Abner, and Antoni. I'm going to do them in that order. If while this is happening, you have a question for me, feel free to leave your question here on YouTube. And then when I finish reviewing these, I will go ahead and try to answer those questions. If you want me to review your video, I would love to do that. It's not something we'd be able to do today. I'm looking at my hand, it looks funny. But you can go to my website and you'll see it, acemethodcoaching.com. Go to the hurdle section, or you can go to the running page. It doesn't matter. Either one, I'll get your video. And there's a place on there clearly for you to do a free video analysis. And you'll send me your video and I'll do it as I can. So that's what I'm going to do. So I see somebody named Chidi. How are you doing? I'm glad that I'm helping. Well, Chidi, I'll get to your question at the end. But let me jump into these videos. I have to change my... Dang it, I did that. Yeah, I need to change my screen. Go to here. Okay. I gotta say, this is one of the most unusual things that I've ever seen on here. Jessalyn is a first-year hurdler who has some questions, and I have mostly people are hurdling at a track. Sometimes it's a real track, sometimes it's grass, sometimes it's dirt, sometimes it's at their house. But this is the very first time in all of my time doing this for a few years now that somebody is hurdling inside of their house. This appears to be her living room. I can see a sofa here, ceiling fan and everything, and she's running barefoot on a hard tile floor. Okay? Probably not the wisest thing I've ever seen, Jessalyn. Jessalyn is having an issue with jumping over the hurdles too high. Her lead leg is not right. Her arms are not right. And she has ankle pains. Wants to know if it's normal to have ankle pains. Well, Jessalyn, I can tell you this. No, it's not normal to have ankle pains. It's not that none of my athletes have ever had ankle pain, but I don't hear it often. It could be because you're jumping barefoot on a tile floor. That would be my first guess. And the other thing I'm noticing is you're only taking 1-2 steps before you go over the hurdle. That could be another reason. Well, I'm being generous here. That's definitely a reason why you are not jumping properly over a hurdle. You don't have any speed built up. So I don't know your training situation, but I can tell you that going over a hurdle requires having speed built up. That's the reason why the start line is usually 8 steps away. So it is definitely, if you don't have speed built up, it's going to affect how you can go over the hurdle. And you're going to have to jump more than you want. Also, I can see that you're jumping too close to the hurdle. So definitely, there's not room here to take 3 steps and be far enough away from the hurdle. So you're having to jump too close to the hurdle. And since you're too close to the hurdle, you're having to come steeply at the hurdle, which means you have to keep rising to the other side of the hurdle. So you're, without a doubt, going to be too high. Also, because you don't have any speed and you don't want to come crashing on the hurdle, you have to jump really high. So it's just not working. Your lead leg is swinging wrong because you're too close to the hurdle. And if you brought it straight up, you would kick it with your shin or your bare foot. So that's why your lead leg is wrong. Your trail leg, amazingly, is, I think, moving decently. You have good flexibility in your hip. It's hard to tell from here. And your hands are really crazy, but it could be because everything that I've already talked about so far. So I wish I could help you more. What you need is a facility to practice at, and that will help you a lot. If you get some new video, let me know. If your pain continues, you might want to see a therapist for that, because that's not something I can address right here. So sorry I couldn't help you more, but there's reasons for your issues, and hopefully I answered them. Okay, looking at Abner. Okay, Abner is in lane 8. He is a junior in high school, second year hurdling. He's having a hard time maintaining 3 steps. Doesn't like his block start or his form. Let me see what we can see here. Okay, let me cue this up. Okay, well, Abner, sorry, I'm just trying to move this a little bit more. Okay, let me see. This might be a tricky one. Okay, well, let me see you here. 8 steps, 3 steps. Sorry, trying to get you to where I know that if I don't have you about right here, it's not going to show up. So let me, so 5 steps, so you're 5-stepping. Okay, so I see the problem with your starts is you are coming right out of the blocks standing up. You either don't have confidence, you look to be strong. So I'm going to assume it's not a strength and power issue. But when you come out of the blocks, you should be, your every foot, at least your first 4, should be, you see this guy next to you right here? You see how his foot is behind his knee? Actually, this guy's even better right here. How his whole body is in front of his foot. That's what you want. Your foot is out in front of your knee, which means that you, either by not practicing this or lack of confidence, are afraid you're going to fall down, so you're trying to get your legs underneath you. And that's not a good way to accelerate. When you're accelerating, you really want to try to get your feet underneath you or behind you, and you're not doing that. So you got to learn how to come out of the blocks. And this particular what I'm doing here doesn't have a whole lot of time to get into that, so that'll definitely help. Okay, and the other thing is you're not running full speed. This is your main thing. There's no way, let me slow this down. There's no way that's full speed. You are running up to this like you're terrified of it. And you are just saying, okay, I don't want to get hurt. So I'm going to get slow and under control. And then I'm going to jump high over it so I don't get hurt. You have to approach it with confidence that you can get your lead leg over and swing that trail leg around, okay? Your form itself actually looks pretty decent. You're swinging your lead leg nicely, bringing your lead arm out decently. Trail arm looks decent. Your trail leg looks acceptable, but you're just too high. I wonder, either these are 42-inch hurdles, 39-inch hurdles, or you're a little bit on the small side. I'm not sure. But that was a really big jump. It took you a long time to land there. Okay? And you didn't look that high. So I don't have quite enough information. And then your trail leg just collapses here with no pressure, with no power at all. And then here you want to start running again. Big step here, putting on the brakes. Big step here, putting on the brakes. And then you go over the hurdle. So let's think about this. I'm going to be harsh. So you slow down all the way to the first hurdle. So you didn't have speed right here. And then you were high on the hurdle. Then you lost even more speed landing on the hurdle. And then you took a slow braking step here. Slow braking step here. Wait, what the heck? Yeah. And then you had no speed. And you go over this hurdle. Again, form is not terrible, but you're too high with low speed. And again, you're leaning back, crashing down into the ground, losing more speed. And then what happens is you're now realizing I can't do this. So now you start taking these 5 tiny steps, braking, 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 jumping, landing, braking, 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 braking. So the thing is, you never built up any speed from the very beginning. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to figure out how to get and maintain speed. And first thing you need to do is learn how to run out of the blocks fast and hit this hurdle with full speed. That's only going to happen if you're confident. The only way to get confident is to work with a lower hurdle or a practice hurdle, something like that. So you can learn the sensation of attacking a hurdle full speed and staying horizontal. Then you'll come off that hurdle and you'll have speed, which you can carry into your second hurdle, okay? So again, you need to practice with shorter hurdles and closer together hurdles, pinched, reduced space, whatever you want to call it, so that you can learn how to, again, go over a hurdle full speed with confidence, and then 3-step. And then as you get better, more efficient and faster and more confident, you can gradually spread out these hurdles and gradually increase the height of the hurdles. But if you're practicing like this, you're never going to get better at racing. You can only race well if you practice well. And even the good hurdlers practice with their hurdles reduced spacing and a little lower. So that's what I recommend. I have a product called Hurdling 101, which goes over this. I'm going to send this to you. Yeah, definitely. And then I think, though, just by what looks like your physical development and your athleticism, that you're going to get through it pretty quickly, and you'll need my Hurdling 201. So I'm just going to send you my bundle, 101, 201, 301. It'll help you out. Okay. Okay, moving on to Antoni. I got to change my screen real quick because this is a horizontal video. It changes the look of things. Antoni is a little more advanced than the two that we just saw. Antoni is 16 years old, so he's still young. Third year hurdling, and is not happy with his 3-step rhythm. So let's see what we see. This is some country that's not the United States. I don't know what it is. Okay, overall, really good, Antoni. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Let me see what I can figure out here. I'm going to wait until you get a little closer to the camera. Okay, this will be good here. Okay. So I don't know, because I don't see marks on this track, I don't know what the spacing is. And if you've seen me, heard me before, you know that I'm a fan of, or I like having the hurdles closer together at practice because it helps you get that rhythm down. And as your training goes on throughout the season, you can gradually spread it out. But it's really good to get that down before you spread them out too far. So let's see. Since we have 2 really good hurdles to look at. This is great video, by the way. So definitely you're a little too high on this hurdle. Okay. I'm going to pick it up right here. So this actually is pretty good in that you struck the ground on the front of your foot. You're up pretty tall already. I'm going to pull you right here. Okay. As soon as you come down to a flat foot, I'll know more when I see you on the next hurdle. Your leg is straight, which is really good. Your hip is forward. Your knee is high. This is very, very good form here. Your arms actually look pretty good. Let me see what happened with that. Okay. The one thing I would change is your lead arm here. As you pull it back, see how it's kind of straight and your knee went by your elbow or your bicep? I would bend your elbow more. So focus on pulling your elbow back and get your hand to sweep past your knee. Okay? And then looking at your trail arm right here, as you come off the hurdle and you bring your trail leg forward and your hips forward, your trail arm should come as if you were running to pull it forward into running motion. So you need to work on your arms a little bit. But this landing from the minus your arms looks really good. Okay. This is actually good. Here's what I'm seeing is when you touch down here, you already have your opposite knee, your right knee, even here. This looks like a really good step. This looks like a really good step too. This is a pretty good, this is really, okay, this is good for, let me start over with this. This is a good looking step for a 16-year-old hurdler. The fact that you're not happy with it makes me think that you're pretty elite and you know some things more than the average hurdler your age. Because I think that most high schoolers would look good here. But, so I'm going to assume that you're kind of at the elite level or wanting to be at the elite level based on your frustration with your three-step rhythm, which is better than most people your age, I want you to notice that you're leaning back here, okay? You struck the ground properly, it's kind of flat-footed, so it could be a little bit more with your knee bent. So you see how your leg is angling back here, your lower leg? We want to get that more straight up and down so you don't have any braking action. But also your whole body is leaning back, right? So what I would work on for you is as you come up to this hurdle on this last step, really focus on getting your leg, your left foot underneath you, get your shin more straight up and down, get your center of gravity more forward, your chest and your hips, to try to be more up tall, maybe not leaning into the hurdle, but not leaning back as far as you are. This is kind of some braking action here. Okay, now we can see something good here. I like your lead leg, it moves nicely. I like the way you have it positioned here, but you have a little bit too much vertical momentum here, a little vertical motion, because you're too high over this hurdle. Now it's possible that you're training with your hurdle, one click down from the way you race, and if that's the case, then you're probably pretty good. So that might be a good height. But I like okay, let me start over here. I like the lead leg. I like the projection into the hurdle. This is pretty good push off. So what I'm seeing here, lead arm looks good. Trail arm could be bent more. Okay, I do think definitely that you need to get your knee or your leg here higher. So maybe you have tight hips, and so it's forcing your leg to be down a little bit, because right here, your knee and your hip should be more even with each other, and your thigh should be parallel to the ground more. And that is going to allow you to be lower over the hurdle. The fact that you're having to keep that leg dropped lower is making you have to go high on that hurdle. So definitely I would work on your hip mobility. And then here's what I think is going to look good. Yeah, this is actually pretty good position here. Okay, looks good. And that looks really good. So I don't know if I gave you much here. I mean, you were unhappy with your rhythm. I think the only thing that I'm seeing wrong here is, like I said, that last step going into the hurdle, leaning back. Try to get your foot underneath you more. Try to stay flat over that hurdle. Get what we call a cut step going into that hurdle. I'm going to send you my Hurdling 301 because it's all elite stuff. It's stuff that I've picked up over the years, coaching some elite hurdlers, but also just in this job, I meet a lot of people, I see a lot of video, and I get to talk to them, and I find out what other athletes and other coaches are doing, kind of put it together in something. So I'm going to send that to you. I think you're going to like it. It's going to help you a lot. But you're really good. You're really good. I imagine you're very competitive. So anyway, I hope that helped. Okay, I am done looking at the videos. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to go back to YouTube to see what I see here. So Chidi, I'm a short hurdler and unable to do 3 strides. What do I need to improve? Well, great question. I just made a video last week that was talking about how to hurdle if you're short. And even if you're not short, if you're just shorter relative to the tall hurdles. And so it does a much better job of explaining than I can do right here. So I recommend go to my YouTube channel and watch that video. It's really good. Speaking of videos, I just put out a video yesterday called Long Sprint Technique. That's a really good video. In fact, I think it's one of my best videos that I've made. It's short, get to the point really quickly, explains it really well. And I thought that it was going to really take off on YouTube yesterday, and it did not. It is just sort of, I don't know, it's not doing well at all. So do me a favor and give that video some love. Go on there and watch it, comment on it, maybe forward it, share it on social media or something. I would really greatly appreciate it because it's a good video that people need to learn about. And it's just going to, if it continues like this, it's not going to do much at all. So somebody just said they're about 1 foot closer than normal. I can only guess that you are Antoni because your name is different here. And if you are, so that's good to know. So then I like the way you're training. I'm going to send you that 301, and I really think you need to work on that cut step, getting that short step going into the first hurdle. Okay. Or I should say the last step as you go over the hurdle. That'll help you a lot. All right. So I've got a few other people that have sent me videos recently, but I wanted to save them for a separate one because 2 people by coincidence sent me a video asking how to transition from shorter hurdlers, and now that they're getting older and they've got to go up to higher hurdles, how do I recommend doing that? So I'm going to lump those together into another video all in itself and kind of give it a theme in case you're wondering why I didn't address your video, that is. So anyway, I hope this helps. Again, if you want to do this, you can go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com. Let me show you really quickly how to do that.